You know, it's important to be careful not to let your pain pick your partner. See, oftentimes it's the unhealed wounds and emotional trauma that actually leads you into the relationship that you may find out later on wasn't right for you. And so a lot of times people will say, well, I'm tired of attracting toxic relationships. What do I need to do to stop attracting toxic relationships? Well, first you need to understand yourself and why your pain is picking your partner. And you may think, what? Why would I want to pick? Why would I want more pain? Well, here's the thing. When you stop blaming the other person or external situation for 100% of the reason why it didn't work out, then you can start the process of healing yourself. And so what I mean by that is, yes, they probably was toxic, right? They were wrong. They were toxic. They did you wrong. They lied. They cheated. They left. They abandoned you, right? But here's the truth. You were a part of that relationship, which means you chose that person in the relationship. And I'm not saying you're the blame for their actions, but you also got to pay attention to what part did you play in allowing that relationship, in allowing that person, and saying yes to whatever that came with that person. See, when you begin to see things from that standpoint, then you can start your healing. Because oftentimes, people mistake trauma bonds as love. So you may think you're in love. Oh my goodness, I'm so in love. I love this person. They're so great. We are so wonderful together. When actually it's a trauma bond. And you may not be aware of it. You may not be aware that that person's emotional trauma and then your emotional trauma has come together and bonded. And that bond feels like it's love when it's actually toxic, when it's actually one moment you're passionate and you're excited, the next moment you're fighting, you're angry and lying and cheating and all these other things are happening within the relationship. And you don't know that you're in a pattern of trauma bonding. And instead of you freeing yourself from that trauma bond, you believe it's love. So you're trying to make it work. You're working and striving really hard to make that trauma bond love.